Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network, covering everything on the pitch like the dew. I'm Jason Longshore. Here's all the soccer news you need to know for Monday, January 6th. Liverpool, Manchester United, maybe the game of the weekend, a 2-2 draw at Anfield. Manchester United are still winless in their last 10 attempts in getting a win at Anfield, but they scored twice, which is as many goals as their last 10 trips combined. Ruben Amorim's team looked much, much better in this game. They looked much, much more confident in this game. Kobe Mano, Manuel Ugarte, that looked really good in the midfield. Diogo Dallo was running riot on the left side. That looked really good in this game. Still questions. Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford. What is the long term future for both of them? Are they going to fit? Matthias de Ligt, is he going to be able to keep a spot in this group? Lots of questions about Manchester United. Drew Dickinson will have plenty more on the 3D this week about his beloved Red Devils, but this is a performance that you can potentially build on. We'll see if they do, unlike how Rangers built on a win over Celtic with a draw on the weekend, which wasn't very good. Trent Alexander-Arnold was a topic of conversation after this game as well. Dallo gave him fits. Trent did not look good in this game at all. And now the questions are already starting to surface. Is he distracted by the contract situation where Real Madrid has put in an offer already? They are reportedly going to put in another offer. Liverpool are trying to keep him. They have reportedly offered him a 5-year contract worth 93 million euro. 360,000 euro per week. Real Madrid is saying, yeah, we'll give you that as well. And we also are thinking about giving Liverpool 25 million euro to sign him in this window, which Liverpool have already said no to, but I don't know if an offer has been put on the table yet. Mo Salah is in the same situation. He's out of contract at the end of the year. He has not looked distracted. Trent Alexander-Arnold, whether it was being distracted, whether it was just a bad day at the office, there will now be more questions about where he will be and where his mind will be, maybe the better way to put it, the rest of this season. Other action in the Premier League, Manchester City 4-1 win over West Ham. Big win for Pep Guardiola's side that are maybe ticking over in the right direction now. Brighton 1-1 draw with Arsenal. The Gunners have failed to win 4 of their last 9 Premier League games, and they were leading at halftime. They'd won 22 in a row before this 9-game stretch. Let's go to France. PSG, they won the Super Cup. Luis Enrique praised his team for starting the year on the right foot. They beat Monaco 1-0. Ousmane Dembele, last gasp goal. 2 minutes into injury time. PSG created 27 chances, 9 on target. They were dominating the game, but it did not look like they were going to find the breakthrough until Dembele got it done. Let's stay in France. Bordeaux, maybe a lifeline for Bordeaux. Let's go back in time. They are now in the 4th division in France. They are debt ridden with reportedly 9 figures of debt. But former German goalkeeper Oliver Kahn is in discussions to buy the club, according to the club's vice president. Said this on Friday. Direct contact with the president of the club and Oliver Kahn. Oliver Kahn has confirmed that negotiations started, said they were at a very early stage. Be very intrigued by this whole situation, so stay tuned. Let's bounce back up across the canal. Raul Jimenez, he made history by becoming the top Mexican scorer in the Premier League. 2 goals on Sunday against Ipswich Town for Fulham. That's 55 in his Premier League career. He surpassed the goal scoring record set by Chicharito during his time in the league. He had 53. Go down to Italy. Roma, they beat Lazio, and Claudio Ranieri continues his amazing record in rivalry matches and derbies. Has a perfect record in this one. Roma won 2-0. It was a big win for Roma. Ranieri took over. He's the 3rd coach of the season. Daniele De Rossi and Ivan Juric were both fired. He got his other wins over Lazio during his first stint as Roma's coach from 2009 to 2011. He's won 3 other big derbies in Italy, in Milan, in Turin, and in Genoa when he was head coach of Inter and Juventus and Sampdoria. Ranieri gets it. He understands what is needed in these games. If the team is tired, he's got to provide that energy. If the team is maybe too jacked up, he's got to keep the team calm. He gets it. He's been around the block many times. He helped Cagliari avoid relegation last season. He said that was going to be his last coaching job. But when Roma came in November and said, "We need you," he said, "I can't say no to that." So he's going to move into an executive role after the season. He will help hire the next coach for Roma. Maybe he'll pass on some of this information about how to win these derby matches because he is the master at it. Let's go to Spain. You already know what's coming. It's Dani Olmo, and he is not going to be registered in La Liga, at least as of now. The Spanish Federation and La Liga rejected the request to register him by Barcelona. Statement was issued on Saturday. La Liga did say that Barcelona finally provided the necessary documentation to have their spending limit extended. It came too late for Olmo and Pau Victor. It came on Friday. Their registrations were canceled on Wednesday. This had to be in by the end of the year to get these guys registered. It wasn't. Seems pretty cut and dried for me when you get into this situation of can you get these two guys registered? Barcelona, in a statement, has said they will appeal the decision at Spain's Supreme Sport Court, the Consejo Superior de Deportes, the CSD. They're going to file their appeal there. What they're hoping for is a temporary, you know, ability to register these guys while it plays out in the courts. I don't think they're going to get this, and I don't think they should. We talked about it last week. There are a ton of precedents to show that there's really no wiggle room here. If you don't meet the deadline, if you don't get the job done, you can't get the guys registered. Now, both players have clauses in their contracts that would allow them to leave the club on a free transfer if they're not registered. Neither player is planning to execute that clause, according to sources. And they can't really leave on a short term basis in an easy way either because Barcelona can't loan them out. Barcelona doesn't have their license to loan them out. Barcelona can't rescind their contract to allow them to sign a deal for 6 months and then re sign them in the summer. That presents a lot of complications as well. Uh, Good luck, Dani Olmo and Pau Victor, and good luck, Barcelona, in trying to break precedent in Spain. Doesn't really happen very often. All right, let's move to the United States. Brandon Vazquez, his move across the Rio Grande is very close to getting done. Monterrey going to get about $10 million from Austin FC for Brandon Vazquez. He will be a designated player there. Austin not done with remaking this team. Sebastian Driussi looking like he's headed to River Plate. It's close to being done. It's not done yet. If Driussi does go, Austin would try to sign a third designated player to their roster as they seek to compete and turn things around after a disappointing year last year. Toronto, they are working towards a departure for Lorenzo Insigne, according to Tom Bogert and Give Me Sport. Nothing's done. Nothing's imminent. It's not settled yet. Toronto could buy him out if they want. They could move him back to Europe. They could move him to the Middle East. All these possibilities are there. He's making $15.4 million annually. That's more than some clubs are spending in wages across the board. He hasn't lived up to it. Maybe the expectations were too big based off what else was in that roster and some of the things that have happened, but he has not lived up to that contract as of yet. Another move with Mexico and the U.S., Alan Pulido is reportedly, according to AS and other sources, headed back to Chivas de Guadalajara. He was there from 2016 to 2019, came to Kansas City, 33 years old now, and he signed an extension in 2023. Not going to see out that deal, it sounds like. Reporting to Claudio Sports, he has already done a medical in Guadalajara. So be on the lookout for Alan Pulido to Guadalajara and Chivas. DC United, they have officially sold their 18-year-old defender, Matai Akimboni, to Bournemouth. Only 13 games in 3 seasons for the youngster, but he was one of the most sought-after teenagers in Major League Soccer. Transfer fee, $2.5 million with the incentives, $1.5 up front, according to the Washington Post. San Diego FC, they signed 16-year-old forward Anis Saidi after getting his homegrown priority from Philadelphia for somewhere around $350,000 if all the incentives are hit. He was one of the top forwards in the U17 Generation Adidas champions for Philadelphia Union. Starred for Tunisia at last fall's U17 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, 4 goals in 4 games there. Mahala Opoku, Montreal, potentially headed to Egypt, and Zamalek SC. They are negotiating for a deal. They submitted a loan bid with a purchase option. Montreal don't want a loan. They want a full transfer. Talks are continuing, according to Tom Bogert and Give Me Sport. Let's go down to Argentina and links between MLS and Argentina. Let's start with Alan Velasco. Boca Juniors still chasing him. According to reports out of Argentina, Boca offered $6.5 million for 100% of his registration. MLS said no. MLS has come back, or Dallas has come back, with $11 million for 85% of his registration. That feels like it's not even close. Can they find a way to bridge that gap? Is there a number in between that both sides will be happy with? Stay tuned on Alan Velasco and Boca Juniors. Joseph Martinez's name has come up in Argentina with Racing. This is a club that is trying to move on from Juanfer Quintero, who wants to go back to Colombia. He's not going to join them for preseason. We'll see when that deal gets done with America de Cali and Racing. This is a Racing team that won the Copa Sudamericana last year. They're getting ready for more CONMEBOL competition, and they have pushed to bring in Joseph Martinez. They do have some uncertainty at the forward position. Roger Martinez, he is out of contract. Looks like he is headed to Saudi Arabia. Adrian Martinez is looking at a deal to Saudi Arabia as well. They need a forward. Could Joseph be that guy to rejoin with Santiago Sosa and be part of the starting lineup for Racing? Stay tuned. Anthony Robinson, he was named the U.S. men's national team player of the year, the male player of the year, according to U.S. Soccer. His first ever award like this. He was previously nominated in 2002, and he's the first defender to earn the recognition since Oguchi Onyewu in 2006. Another MLS adjacent kind of news slash rumor. Santos in Brazil have reportedly, according to Globo, reached an agreement to sign 30-year-old English midfielder Josh Wendis. He plays for Sheffield Wednesday. He scored a golazo here recently. They're trying to get the deal done. He played with their coach, Pedro Caixinha, in Rangers in Scotland in 2017. Well, Windass has been the subject of interest from MLS clubs in the past, including Real Salt Lake. He's still on the radar of clubs, according to Give Me Sport. We will see if that becomes a bidding war between Santos and RSL or somebody else. Staying in Brazil, Botafogo, they're trying to hire Andre Jardim as their new manager. He, in Mexico City, has said he is not going. He is going to stay and look for a 4th title in a row with Club America. Club America, let's stay with them. They are trying to sign Richie Ledesma, the American central midfielder slash right back. Cesar Luis Merlo reported the interest initially. Ledesma is eligible for the Mexican national team, so he'd be a domestic player in Mexico. He's 24 years old. He's gotten back into PSV's first team this year as a right back, which is a little bit of a surprise. He's got 1 U.S. men's national team cap, 17 games for PSV this season, including 5 in the Champions League. Lionel Messi did not attend the ceremony, but he was among 19 people who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Joe Biden. It's the highest civilian honor that the United States has. The White House chose Messi for this honor because of his support of healthcare and education programs for children around the world through the Leo Messi Foundation. He's also a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. He had a scheduling conflict and sent a letter to the White House in December after he was informed that he would be honored with this, that he could not attend. Today, the biggest game of the day is the Supercoppa Italiana, which will be played in Saudi Arabia between Inter and Milan. This is the only tournament that Italy does that has this kind of weird format. Spain has done some tournaments like this as well with their Super Cup. It's the winners of Serie A and Coppa Italia plus the runners up for both of those competitions. So a semifinal and a final. It's not a one-off game like others do, like the Community Shield, for example. Um, It hasn't really done that well in Saudi Arabia either. The semifinal between Inter and Atalanta drew just under 17,000 people. That's going to be an issue going forward. This tournament has been all over the place, tournament slash cup slash whatever you want to call it. It was established in 1988. It's designed to promote Italian football internationally. It's been played all over the place, but it hasn't ever really gained traction. And this one, at least in the stands, has not gained traction either. Maybe a classic game between Inter and Milan. Maybe that helps it gain a little traction. There's your sampling of some of the things that I'm sure John Nelson is going to talk about. 9:05 on SDH Live. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on X. You can watch on Twitch. You can watch on Facebook. Make sure you are subscribed on all of those places or following in all of those places and all the rest of the social media platforms that you prefer. And Morning Espresso will be back tomorrow with more about what's going on around the world of soccer.